By now you've probably heard the story of 4 black teenagers kidnapping a mentally disabled white Trump supporter and torturing him. This event has been referred to by multiple names: the BLM kidnapping, the Chicago kidnapping, the BLMKidnapping. Yeah, Twitter tried to hide the original. It's pretty easy to come to a conclusion on how I feel about the incident. It's disgusting. The people behind it are savages and deserve jail time. But the responses to this event are where my feelings have become rather complicated. Let's just get this out of the way. I don't think it should be called the BLM kidnapping. I think it should just be the Chicago kidnapping. Now hear me out. I hate BLM. I always have, and I more likely than not always will. But I frankly don't think there's enough ties here to claim that they're responsible for it. I do think that it was the same anti-white rhetoric from the media that caused groups like BLM to start forming, which also led to this event, but I don't think it's fair to blame BLM for this event. This is a difficult position for me to take because even people that I usually admire like Paul Joseph Watson are making this argument. Now if one of them had said Black Lives Matter during the attack, or if they had said something like this is for Michael Brown or Keith Scott or something along those lines, then I think there would be a stronger case for calling BLM into question. But with what the video itself demonstrates, there isn't enough to tie them to it. Another example would be the response to what Shaun King has said on the incident. Again, not a Shaun King fan. I don't know too much about him, but what I do know gives me a negative impression of him. Shaun posted a tweet saying that he won't fight for justice for the victim. Now at face value this looks horrible. However, if you read the actual article, he states that the situation was terrible, but the reason why he's not fighting for justice is because justice is already being served. So while I don't like Shaun King, I don't think we should try to take this as him saying that the kidnapping wasn't unjust. Now you could argue that if the races were reversed and it was 4 white thugs torturing a defenseless black man, then the media would immediately brand this as the result of Trump, regardless of whether or not the attackers cited Trump as their inspiration. And while that is true, I think this clip from Rick and Morty sums it up best.
Do you think they would have done this for us?
We are not them. We are not them.
If there was an attack of 4 white people against a single black person and the media tried to blame it on Trump, I would oppose their claim. And as such, for the sake of integrity and intellectual honesty, I have to be just as opposed to accusing the other side of being responsible for an event like this. So with that being said, let's actually take a look at how BLM has responded to this incident. After the incident, Black Lives Matter Chicago released a statement where they condemned the violence against this man, which is another reason I can't find myself placing the blame on them for it. However, I actually do have a few criticisms of this statement as well, namely this part.
There won't be a restorative justice process. They won't be able to make amends and redress the harm they've caused. They won't be able to work towards recompense and repair the harm they've committed. Nope, the system will ensure the cycle of violence continues. We don't consider this justice for the victim, but you all don't care. You want to sensationalize this and use it as justification to generalize and criticize. If you really cared about the victim, then you'd be advocating for their care and treatment for trauma.
So my first objection is to their claim that people who are talking about this incident don't care about the victim. 4 hours after this statement was posted, a GoFundMe was started for the victim, and within 14 hours, almost $9,000 were raised. So it's clear that people do obviously care about this man. The second problem I have is their complaint that they won't be able to make amends. BLM, what exactly are you expecting them to do? Do you want them to say I'm sorry and give the guy a hug? How are you expecting them to fix the damage they've caused? If the races were reversed, would you have responded by claiming that the justice system should allow 4 white guys to try and make amends? Or would you immediately label the case as proof that we live in a white supremacist society? As much as I agree that associating you guys with something you had no part in is wrong, if you genuinely care for the victim, why didn't you do something like start a GoFundMe page for him? So in conclusion, I think I would probably say that if it's fair to blame acts of racism towards black people on the alt-right or Donald Trump or whatever, then it's perfectly fair to blame this on BLM. However, this also goes the other way around. If you're perfectly fine with blaming this event on Black Lives Matter, then you should be perfectly fine with Donald Trump or the alt-right or whatever being blamed for any other racist events.